Hello. Um,
I'm here. That's so nice.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Hi. So exciting. Cannot wait to get started. Come on in, friends. I have a poppy, which is matching my shirt, which is not on purpose, but if anybody has a drink of choice, like tell me what it is in the chat as I crack open my can. And let's get started. Hello, hello. How is everybody? Oh my gosh, I'm loving it. All the little names are popping up. Everyone's coming in. Hi, everybody. Okay, just another minute, we'll get started. I see some familiar faces, some names I've never heard of, so I'm excited to have you guys here. Um, if there's anything you are looking to ask me about fashion and style, we'll definitely have a Q&A at the end, and we can make sure that we get to that and we can ask them. So you're welcome to throw those in the chat too. And we'll get started soon. Okay, well, welcome to Master Your Style. So, Master Style is all about the art of dressing well and the art of knowing how to put outfits together, know how to create a closet that you love, how to master shopping, how to make your life easy in the mornings. And the principles behind Master Your Style are designed for everyone. They're designed for no matter your body, your shape, your size. Any kind of person can really learn the tools to become better at fashion and learn how to become the best dressed version of themselves, no matter where they are in life or what life's changes come their way. So today we want to just kind of look at like what are we going to cover? Well, what are smart, successful women still struggling with style? And what are the four pillars of that? And how can we apply this framework to our lives? Because feeling chic every day can be a challenge, but it doesn't have to be. So we're going to look at why is this even a problem? Like, why does feels like getting dressed is harder than ever? Like maybe you have a closet that is overwhelmingly incohesive. You don't have a lot of clothes. You have too much clothes. Maybe shopping for things and the time you spent is just like a waste. You just don't have anything left and you feel like you're never successful. And one of the reasons this is such a big problem is because the guides, the styling don'ts, the do's, the tips you see like on this Instagram here, like they don't actually teach you anything. They teach you things that constantly change. Like, great, learn how to wear a new boot, learn how to buy a new jean, learn something new and exciting. But is that actually going to help you when it changes again, which it inevitably will, which many of us have experienced firsthand? You've probably come from an era when an entirely different jean style was really popular and it's not anymore. So, what did you do? You felt secure in your style, you felt amazing, but then now you're frazzled, maybe you panic shop, you wish you got it, but you don't because things are always changing. And the reason that you feel that this is a problem is because there's not a system. You need to have a framework and fashion principles. And I've been styling for 15 years, and I will tell you that when you actually follow this framework and they become innately inside of you, you will actually be able to master your style. So, a little bit about me, if you don't already know, I've been doing this for about 15 years. I've styled like 1,000 or so people. It's for true. And I've done this across many different brands and many different professionals. And I've been doing it virtually and in person. And I can tell you that this system works because it works for my clients and I've been doing it for so long. But most of all, I can tell you that it works because that's how I mastered my own style. I wasn't always so chic and cute. I didn't always have the confidence to put outfits together. I always liked fashion. I always thought fashion was cool. I always loved the idea of having fashion, but I was mostly just an insecure kid. And it wasn't until I eventually understood the technical skills of fashion and I learned how to dress my body and I learned how to shop for my body and I understood those things was I able to change my life. And I was able to create this like easy breezy wardrobe. Mornings are never a struggle. Recently, when I started living bi-coastally between the West Coast and East Coast, I was able to take the principles of getting dressed and instead of it overwhelming me and making me feel like insecure or not lack of confidence in myself when I showed up in new spaces, I was able to take the things I knew so I could always feel good no matter where I went. And I want to teach you about these pillars, and I'm excited to teach you because I want you to understand that it isn't about some evasive, foreign, out of touch thing that you can't actually achieve. There are simple steps that if you just apply them and you approach them strategically, you can actually learn and master your own style. So, what is the first step? The first step is discovering your vision. I feel like most people don't have a vision. How many of you who are on this call have gone shopping and actually didn't know what you needed? You popped into a store and on your way there, you were just like, well, going along with friends, or a person you're dating brought you into the store. What made you think like this might actually like be the day that you're going to find exactly what you need? But you didn't know what you were even going for. Maybe you didn't know what was going to fit you. You didn't even know what you were walking into that Nordstrom and trying to find. This is really what the importance of having a vision means and why it will make a huge difference on your steps that you take to your style. So when you don't have a vision, you can't identify what you're missing. You don't know actually how to walk into a store and say what is going to work for you. But you can use fashion as a tool for your goals when you know the vision that you're trying to create for your life. And then this is how I want you can find your vision. Has anyone here ever created a mood board for your style? Have you ever curated a bunch of looks, kind of thinking about how would you want your style to be? If that's the case, then you have already started and you've already like been step one. But did you think about like what in that mood board was realistic to your lifestyle? Did you do consider whether or not it would complement the life that you want to live? Also, have you thought about something that I is a really interesting thing? Is it are you shopping and styling yourself for the way things fit on you, or are you shopping for the fashion? And I think that that's also an important thing in your vision. Some people want to be fashionistas, and some people just want things to look really good on them. And some of us want both. And be understanding where the priority lies will help you achieve your goals. Now, first thing is if you haven't had your mood board, I want you to go out and collect images. And the funny thing is that people often skip this step. I see people in Facebook groups and on the internet always asking like, what's the link? Where do I go? What can I buy? But you don't even know what you want. How do you know if it's the right thing to buy? You need to go out and have a vision first. So that way, when you do step into a store or you do see an influencer's link, you know it's the right style for you. The next thing is editing, right? We've all talked about like editing our closet. I'm sure that you've seen or even maybe tried to edit your own closet, or maybe you've heard me even talk about it. But the truth is that you have to go in and understand that the someday of like your closet making sense really begins with you owning what really works for the vision that you have and having clarity and control of a wardrobe that supports your goals. And would you ever want to walk into a store that was a complete disaster and nothing was merchandised and there were piles and piles of junk? If you've ever walked into a store during a sale, did you want to walk out, or did you want to try things on? It's the same thing when your closet doesn't have an edit, as they say. So if you haven't edited your closet, it really is an essential first step in making sure that your vision can be executed confidently. So next we want to shop. But what does shopping mean? What is shopping really like besides just consuming? I think that like when you learn to buy smarter and not just more stuff, you're actually able to really be very intentional and very curated about what you're going to have for your wardrobe's vision. Because we are worried about like what are we spending and how much is a good investment. But I really encourage you, if you don't feel confident in buying the right pieces, to stop shopping for a while and really focus on your vision, focus on editing, focus on wearing the pieces that you have. So much of us go out and we want to buy a few new pieces. Who's guilty of buying a few new pieces and then thinking that that would solve all their problems? But it doesn't. Kind of just adds to the clutter. It adds to the confusion. It adds to the lack of cohesion in the whole thing. But what can you do? Let's talk about trends. I think trends are actually really important. And any stylist that tells you they don't matter is probably lying to you. And the reason they matter is because trends and the influence of where fashion is going significantly impacts what you can buy, what's available for you to wear, and like it's a buffet. So when trends are out there and you see all your options, I want you to think of it as though you're going to a buffet. There's always going to be the things that are your favorites. I always go for mac and cheese. I know I always go for like Brussels sprouts when I see a buffet, but what do you always go for? But like trends are the ones that you don't always eat. They're invitations for you to pick from and choose and experiment with. And if you're not paying attention to them, this is why you're dated. This is why you may look like an older person that maybe a certain generation of teenagers are making fun of a lot on the internet. So instead of feeling confused about who you are in a world that's constantly changing, you want to think about trends as an invitation for you to choose from. And when you feel really confident in your style and you feel a lot of clarity in what and who you want to be, you're able to cherry pick from that buffet and integrate it into your wardrobe with an ease that you've never experienced. And it compounds over time. I call it the compounded closet because like a 401k, over time, it gets better and better and better. You have things from years ago that go great with the things you have now. And it builds an authentic style that is created uniquely through your point of view, through your lifestyle, through your body. So when you shop, you can use filters and you can edit down by size or category or cut. You can check the details like the seam, the rise, the fabric, the composition. You can check out the model, change, compare her measurements against yours. You can look at things that will help you make the best decision when you're choosing from the buffet. Because when you try things on and you're asking yourself, is this a good investment? Should I really pay for this? You'll stop overthinking an item's intrinsic value because it's really a feeling that you get. Once you've chosen pieces that are only high quality, that only work well for you, when you shop smarter and you select things that are strategically more about what supports your life and your dreams, then you're able to have incredible category of things in your closet because you trust yourself and your instincts when you try things on and how you feel in them. And that's one of the first things that people are often confused about is like they get overwhelmed with shopping because you don't trust yourself. You don't trust the choices you make. You don't trust the things that you put on. And if you were to eliminate the clutter, eliminate the noise, and you have a vision, you're a lot more likely to start understanding like who and what it is that you want to be in the world. The next thing you can do is talk about your styling. So when you want to build a signature look and you want some daily confidence and you want to mix and match, your style comes through the lens of like your life, your body. Are you a mom? Are you single? Are you dating? Are you Southerner? Are you a New Yorker? Like, where do your roots come from? Do you appreciate color? Are you on your feet all day? Do you want to look taller? Do you want to look like a leader? Like, what are your personal goals? Styling is in the authenticity of who you are. It's expressed through the person that you have been and the one you are becoming. And that's where it becomes really fun and unique to you. Again, this is why when you're looking at celebrities or people that are online that are telling you what you should wear or what you shouldn't wear, they're not necessarily giving you the advice that's going to be intrinsically and authentically you. They're teaching you how to replicate and do what it is that they're doing, which is partially why many of you feel lost and confused about whether or not your style is really that great. But when you are creating an outfit, here are some ways that you can go about it. So that way you can feel a little bit more creative and some of the steps that I teach and can give you in order to have more confidence when you put together an outfit. First of all, what's the vibes? Like, are we doing like a sporty look? Are you going to the US Open? Are you picking your kids up from pickup? Are you doing like a chic, sexy dinner? Like, what is the energy we're trying to go for here? And then from there, your elements need to speak to that. Each piece is like gonna contribute to that vibe and dial it up or dial it down. It's kind of like how if you wear a dressy shoe with a very sexy dress, it's going to dial up the sexiness. Like think platform with mini dress. So like then you get to adjust yourself. Like, is it raining? How does your body look in certain things? Do you feel confident when you wear certain things? Like, do you even like the color? Just consider some of the elements that you can adjust to make it more you. And that's how, again, style becomes really personal. So let's use an example for inspiration on how you can do this in real time. So let's use the barn jacket as an example, a very popular style that we've seen for a few seasons. And you may or may not like this example, but it's universal and is very widely available. So let's just say you see this image and you want to replicate this outfit, or you love the idea of a barn jacket. So you take the elements of where your inspiration is coming from. So this is a simple breakdown of those elements. She's got a barn jacket on. She has like this, like what appears to be some sort of dark trouser or denim. a simple knit t-shirt and the barn jacket and a kitten heel, a low heel. So you take those elements and then how can you make them yours? You make them yours by swapping out, like, what would you change? Is there anything in this image that you would change? Like, what would you do to make it yours? Like, how would you make it? Could you throw on a track pant or would you prefer a sneaker? Would you add color? Would you not even choose that color barn jacket? These are the ways. Would you add lots of jewelry? Would you w- wear shorts with it in the summer because you're maybe if you're in like a warmer climate? Like these are ways that you can make something that seems like completely different than how you would wear it into something uniquely yours. Another example is like this picture is an example of an entirely different way to wear the style. Not only is it cropped, but what if you have a long barn jacket, or maybe you have a leopard pant that's a little bit more slim cut that was trending from last season, and you want to wear it again for fall. Maybe you don't like the idea of a sneaker. You think it's too sporty, so you add a loafer, but you can make it yours. You can incorporate what feels like adjusted to your lifestyle and dial it up or dial it down. Another example would be look at this picture of this woman sitting on the bench. So, an entirely different outfit, an entirely different look in theory, but when you take down apart the elements of the outfit, and then you were to, like, say, swap out that barn jacket for that blazer, wouldn't the look still work? Wouldn't theoretically, like a loafer of some sort, the barn jacket, a bodysuit or a turtleneck, and then a slim, like mid-wash jean work great? Like, so you can take things that you like about certain things, take pieces of your wardrobe that already exists, and then incorporate them into the buffet that's being offered you. And maybe that's the way that if you love a barn jacket and you think it's the chicest thing you've seen and you think it's the best look, and you see that as being a long-term staple in your wardrobe, I mean, people have been wearing barn jackets a lot longer than they have for the past year. So LL Beam has been in business a long time. So that means that this might be a forever piece for you. Another way to look at the barn jacket is here's an actual visual element of how we took that exact same look and we swapped it out. And I found this woman in this very similar style. Yeah, so maybe her pants are a little looser. She doesn't have a turtleneck. Maybe you hate turtlenecks. I have a client who feels like she's literally in bondage when she wears a turtleneck. So you wear a crew neck, or maybe you prefer a V-neck if you have, or perhaps you like a really dark jean. But you can take all the elements of something that you love or something that you're influenced by, and you can use what you have or make it your own. So what I want you to understand from like this is that you need to have a vision, right? Without it, you are literally going nowhere. If you don't actually have navigation on, like you could just journey around and hope for the best, but has that worked out so far? Because you need to build a foundation. You need to edit your closet so that you have clarity of what's there, clarity of inventory that you would use again. You want to be able to maximize on what you have so you don't keep wasting money and losing out in the long run. Because that way, when you shop with intention, you slow down, you spend on better, you have a list, you know what's coming in and why it should be there and how you're going to wear it. You can experiment with your style. You can follow the feeling and trust your instincts. And then it's easy to replicate things that you love, things that feel like you, things that are easy and breezy. Because then you can become her. The art of dressing well is a skill you can learn because you know your style, you keep what works, you shop with strategy, and you dress with confidence. Because you're not crazy. This knowledge is power. Skills empower people. Education helps bring success. No one can take that away from you. It applies to all of life's changes, and with time and effort, you can do it solo. And a personal example is this is me at my wedding, which was planned about 2 weeks before when I got hitched in Santa Barbara. And I pulled all the pieces that I wore to my wedding out of my closet, the week of. Pieces that over the years I had bought, I had got taken from my grandma, shoes that I had worn to where the soles had to be replaced, a dress I scooped out of a sample sale, not really knowing where I was going to wear it, but knowing it was the perfect fit, and a coat that my husband gave me as a gift for just weeks before our wedding. And had I not had the skills and the knowledge to do this, I wouldn't have been able to feel as confident going into my wedding day with an outfit that felt like me, that felt sexy, that felt chic and easy. I would have panic shopped. I would have spent hours drowning on revolve.com, and I would have felt probably not as good and happy on my wedding. So you can do this on your own, you can do this solo. Or if you want it faster, I'm starting a new program where I'm teaching you this entire framework step by step. The first cohort ran last year and it was so successful, I'm doing it again. It's a hands-on, done with you educational program where I single-handedly guide you in a community through live weekly styling, teaching you the four pillars. Every question you have, every moment you sit in a fitting room, you feel confused, you feel overwhelmed, you won't feel that alone anymore because you'll have me and the friends that you make in class to call upon for the answers. We're starting October 20th, and I have a special offer for you as someone who's come and joined our webinar today. I'm going to throw the link in the chat in case you're interested, and I'll tell you more about the program. It's meant and designed for women who are finally ready to understand your style. You're tired of all the drama of shopping, the influencer links, the feeling like you can't get it, feeling like you don't know if the pants fit, don't know how to style it. You're done figuring it out alone, and maybe you're just not ready to work with a stylist privately, but you're definitely ready to master your style. When you master your style, you master your confidence. I know because I've done it, and I will hands-on help you make sure you feel it too. Normally, my services begin at $5,000 for a virtual one-to-one, but for the program, it's $997 for 8 weeks of access to me, live Zoom classes, videos, hands-on styling, and all of the behind the scenes pulling back the cloak that I can give you that I do not bring anywhere else. And on top of that, anyone who signs up today by midnight tonight, you will get a free virtual one-on-one styling consultation and $50 off the program. That does end today, so you will need to sign up for the program today. But I want to make this available to you and let you know that you can, regardless of what you do, you can be a person who will feel good in your wardrobe. You can be a person who can feel amazing getting dressed. It is possible to feel stylish in your clothing. It is possible to feel confident in your clothes. It is something that you can do. It's so simple and easy, and I promise you that mastering your style is available to you because became available to me and my clients who I work with one-on-one. And this is one of the funnest programs I've ever done. So I'm really excited to have it and offer it to you. But I'd love to answer any questions, whether it's about the program, about fashion, about the four pillars, about anything you're curious about. So if you have a question, you can leave it in the chat. You're even welcome to just turn on your volume and like tell me what you're thinking. I'd love to hear. No, no questions? Okay. That's okay. I feel shy on Zooms too.
Hey everyone.
Oh, you're welcome, Ashley. I'd love to hear if you had a good takeaway from it. So if anything was like really the standout thing, please tell me.
Hi.
Hi,
Yeah.
Sonam. Ask your question.
How
Or
do
you
I
shopped
sort
it
through
in
all
the
this stuff
past.
on Shop Up and Revolve? Um, the best thing to do is first of all, I you should shop by category first. So most time you'll people will go by new arrivals or they'll go by price point or they will shop by a brand. But the best thing to do is to shop on by category. So let's say you're looking for tops and then you filter. Some stores have further filtering options, whether it's by color or the length, whether it's short sleeve, tank top. You really want to narrow it down to the smallest amount of options as possible because there still will be an abundant amount. But if you know that you are have preferences where you don't like certain necklines or you don't like certain sleeve lengths or you don't like certain colors, spend the few times to eliminate down the ones that you know will definitely not work. It's really important to slim down your options as much as possible so that way you can at least find more abundant ones that fit the scope of what you're looking for. Any recommendations? Ashley asks, any recommendations for anything other than Pinterest? Yeah. I recommend a lot of times going into Vogue Runway. Um, you can look at if you are a red, you don't have to pay for Vogue Runway to view the collections, but and a lot of people shy away from looking at designer collections, but barring the very, very like avant-garde, like very high fashion, like quirky ones, a lot of brands that you might know or be interested in, like Rag and Bone or Tibby or J. Crew, they put out presentations. And they're incredibly styled presentations. They're beautiful and they're often very innovative and interesting. And people very often overlook them. I also recommend following street style accounts from famous and or big photographers, not TikTokers who follow people on the internet or like things like that. I'm talking about professional fashion industry insiders who are at fashion shows or who travel the world to find amazing street style because you will find a lot of unique inspiration that is not replicating the same stuff over and over again. And you never know what you might like. I have a client who, when I met her like 10 years ago, she was dressing like a Chase bank teller. And within a couple of years of working together, she started showing me pictures from South Korea and wanting to dress like that. So you never know how your style will be inspired or evolve. Yeah, it was I mean, listen, like we all had that express button down blue shirt at one point or another, didn't we? So you can't really blame her. She didn't really know what else to do. Does anyone else have any other questions? Oh, how okay, two questions came in. Let me see. Let me see. The first one is how my main takeaway is that I need to clean out my closet ASAP. I have been holding on to too many pieces for years that aren't being worn. The shopping in a store with a big clearance analogy resonated. Lots of chaos. Yeah. Like, like if you really want amazing style and you want to feel really confident in it, like I know it's hard, but it takes a little bit of front end work, but you can do it. So, definitely edit your closet. I say even if you do like one category a week and just choose all your jeans, to make it a little simpler, you will find some amazing gems in there. You'd be surprised how much more inspired you will be to get dressed if you have less. Sonam asks, how do you slim down the options across sites? Like, say, I'm looking for a silver chain statement necklace. Shop app will have versions, but so will Nap, but so will Mango. What to invest in this versus cute and what works? My best advice is to factor in like what kind of quality of item you want to buy first. So, and maybe what convenience you want in terms of the retailer experience, because a lot of those brands are going to have a lot of similar options in terms of aesthetic. Um, but you might want to consider like how easy do you want it to be able to return? How quickly do you want the order to go out? What kind of experience, customer service experience do you want to have if you have an issue? So when you choose to shop at Mango versus like Net-a-Porter, you're going to have a very different experience if there's like a delivery issue, for example. So sometimes I factor in that. I would also think about this is where having a vision comes into mind. So if you are looking for a silver chain statement necklace, that leads me to ask, like, do you want a chunky chain? Do you want a long chain? Do you want the statement necklace to have a pendant, or is it just the chain you're looking for? And then I would think, price point wise, if a certain retailer has a certain price point that is a little bit more within the range of what you want to spend, I would just stick to the one or two. It's very easy to get caught up in there might be a better option, so let me keep looking. But the goal is to find one that you love. So instead of having option overload, don't give yourself so many options. Look for four that excite you. Once you found four, just choose from the four. Your time is worth more than the $30 you may save. It's the perfection, the idea that you will find something better is like kind of a false logic. The odds are is that you won't. You'd have to be shopping in two different price points for you to be able to get two different significantly valuable items. Madeline asks, thoughts on clothing subscription services and newly rent the one way. Um, I actually don't mind rentable services. I think that they are a great way to experiment with brands, experiment with styles. I do think that they can sometimes hold people back from finding the foundational wardrobe that they will wear over and over again. If you struggle with having pieces that you are easy in every day, if you don't have jeans that you love or basics that you love or items that are like your go-tos and you shop or use Nuuly or Rent the Runway or something to kind of compensate for that like shopping itch, you might still always feel dissatisfied with your wardrobe. Um, I'm not sure if the Rent the Runway quality has gone down from what I hear, but you guys probably know better than me because if you're using it, Madeline. But it's a good resource. But still, when you have the skills to be a amazing shopper and you feel really confident in the tools that you have, you're able to pick things out anywhere. That's one of the things that well, I teach in Master Your Style is how do you pick the right pieces from a rental? How do you pick the right pieces when you're traveling, when you're maybe experiencing a changing body or you are in a different climate? Um, the tools to be really good at this is something that can't be taken away. You can always manage to make the best decisions and do really well, whether you're thrifting or shopping at Zara or shopping at Chanel. Um, any other questions, anybody? Any questions about the program as well? Happy to answer some questions about that. Mm. Okay, well, like I said, the link is in the chat, so if you want to grab it before we leave, you are able to get the free program, the free one-to-one styling session, as well as the $50 off the program. The program also does offer a payment plan. So if you wanted something that was a little bit more palpable at the time of purchase, you do have that option as well. And you can plug that in until midnight tonight to get it. The promo code is styled. So if you want to take advantage of that, you would get a complimentary styling session as well. So as well as $50 off the program. I'm really excited about this and hope that you join us in this cohort. And otherwise, I'm really glad you guys came and thank you so much for being here. Well, have a great day. Bye. You're welcome. Bye.